Hello, FlossTube. This is Shanda from along the Continental Divide in Idaho, and I am here with my 2024 WIP parade. I counted my WIPs. I have 39 total. I had 40, but I finished one already in January, and I have that here to show you. But I have 39 WIPs. Long story short, I have 18 down here in Southwest Idaho, and the rest are up in the mountains because if I'm stuck in either place, I gotta have something to work on, right? But there are 18 down here that I really want to focus on for the year. In 2023, I only stitched and completed 12 projects. Mainly I was doing my Master Gardener class, which I am continuing that this year to be an advanced Master Gardener. But I'm skipping the continuing Master Gardener, but there's still only about half the work involved. So that took a big chunk of my time last year. I also have been working, not full-time, but not 20 hours a week either. So that took a lot of my time to get adapted and used to working that. I love the kids. I'm loving the school. I don't mind my commute. I kind of got a nasty commute. Not that there's a lot of traffic, but it's between hills and mountains and vales, and it's along a reservoir. And so that takes time out of my day. But I do have a plan for these WIPs in 2024. So I will show you what I have. I do have two finishes. One was from the end of 2023 that I don't think I showed you last time. I may have, I'm not sure. One finish already in January. I have one start that I started on, I believe it was New Year's Eve. And I stopped because I'll explain that when I start conquering these WIPs. I have only two purchases, stash, but not your typical stash. So I'm really excited about them. And then my 18 WIPs here along here, and my Sunday stitch on the end, which is his eyes on the sparrow. I am stitching his eyes on the sparrow very uniquely too. So my first finish, I may have shown you this, I'm not sure. Letters for Santa by Brenda Duvay. My last Christmas finish. I just can't remember if I showed you this or not. But here's my finish. Let's go this way. Not fully finished yet, but finished nonetheless. 18 count natural raw linen. I love this. The holes are really big. It feels like, kind of like, it looks like you stitched on burlap, but not quite so thick. And I just love the look it gives projects. So there was that. Yeah, I really like that one. The project, sorry, I just had a laughing attack. The project I finished with mid-January. I keep track of all that in my Excel spreadsheet over in my laptop. Saltbox Quilt Sampler with Dye, Needle, and Thread. I started this Mother's Day of 2020. Almost 4 years ago. And I just said this was going to be my blessing sampler this month. I was going to get it done. I'm not going to be putting mine in a box. I'm going to be framing mine. And mine is 1/1 on 28 count. It's very small, very petite. 1/1 on 28 count. And this was a mystery linen. Back in May of 2020, you know, it was kind of hard to get anything. And I really was trying to stitch on what I had. In the meantime, I did find the label for this. It was just a mystery linen. It did say 28 count linen. It's not an even weave. A little bit hard to stitch on, but I did it. I persevered. And there is my finish. I love it. I just love it. I will take this in now and get it framed. 1/1 on 28 count. It just said it was a Charles Craft linen, 28 count linen, not an even weave. For my stash back in May of 2020. All done. Just love that. I don't think I changed. Oh, I take it back. This house right here, I changed the background to that big barn quilt on that star. It was a gray that almost matched the house, and I didn't like it. So I did switch out that color so it would show up a little bit, because this house has the very same color as did that little barn quilt. So I just made it the same. 1/1, 28 count, linen. It's done. 2 real quick acquisitions, and then we'll get on to the WIP parade. And keep in mind, again, these are 19 technically of my 39 WIPs. So roughly half. And this summer when I'm back up in the mountains, I will probably do a WIP parade of the ones that are up there. This is an assortment of some samplers, some smalls, definitely some seasonal in here, but we'll get to that in just a second. One acquisition, I was into Maggie's on Main, my local needlework shop, my LNS. And the day I happened to be in there, I did not know this, but all Blackbird was 25% off. So I picked up Lydia R. Cohagen. I've never seen this before. I don't know where I've been. There's no copyright date in here. So I don't know if this is a reprint or something new. But I liked it. I just, even on the back, there is no copyright date anywhere. And I do have a great-grandmother, an ancestor, that I'm going to stitch this for and put her name there in the middle. Lydia R. Cohagen. Oh, the colors are so Blackbird, just beautiful. And then there's going to be just a little bit of paper rustling here. I recently ordered from, she is on Etsy, Team Egner, E-G-N-A-R. I don't know, Tina, if that's how you pronounce your last name. Team Egner, T-E-A-M, and then E-G-N-A-N-E-R, N-A-R. I'll show you her, handmade by Team E-G-N-E-R on Etsy. That is her card. There was also this one attached to this cute bag that had a ribbon on it. Some tomatoes. This one's just a blank card. But I ordered 2 things from her that I'd gotten some Christmas money. And my mother told me to spend it on cross stitch, so I did. A thread drop with a snowflake and some skating thread drops. And you can see that snowflake right there. Beautiful. And I got this, I'm just loving this. It's also a floss, or excuse me, a thread keep, maybe? Thread keep. Time to stitch. Love, love, love. So, thank you, Tina. You made spending my Christmas money that was left over delightful. Okay, the one start I had, I want to say I started this, I'm pretty sure I started it on Christmas Eve because we stayed up late watching. We kind of got on a kick. I don't know if we were watching this then or I can't actually remember what we were watching on Christmas Eve. But if it wasn't this, it was around that time. My husband and I kind of got on a kick of, it's on PBS and it's All Creatures Great and Small from Masterpiece Theater. And this is like its 4th season, but I rented season 1, 2, and 3 from the library and binge watched. We had 2 snow days in a row. We had Christmas break had barely ended. On a Tuesday, we had a power outage at school. And then the next 2 days were snow days. So we had cold, cold weather. And then all this snow came. Where I live, we probably don't get 3 or 4 inches at a time. One snow day is rare. We usually don't get any snow days, and this year we had 2 in a row. One week and then 2 days in a row the next week. So I was glad I kind of stocked up and got some things stitched. But this is my new start. It was New Year's Eve, and I started this with my friend Marlis also. I have loved this chart since it came out a year or 2 ago. Brenda Gervais at home. Oh. First I was a little hesitant with this blue. There's like a teal blue in here, right here. But it's just the very, very small centers of these flowers. The colors on this are going to be beautiful. So just a small start, but a start nonetheless. And now this is the one that made me decide something. First of all, this fabric is 36 count affogato. This chart taught me something. This start, I should say, this chart and this start. Because I started this, normally I would just put it, fold it, put it in the bag, put it away. Work on it in the future. This year I'm not going to have any starts. This was Christmas Eve, or excuse me, New Year's Eve. There are a couple that I have to start over, but no new starts for me this year because I got encouraged with the 39 WIPS that I have. I got encouraged by thinking I could have these done in 2.5 years. I kind of got on fire. So this one is going to get put away and I will work on this at some future date. But right now I just want to work on some of these. They're my oldest WIPS and I want to work on them till they're done. Then next year I will finish everything that I didn't get done in 2020 and go on from there. I have it all planned out on my Excel chart. Like I said, that's in my laptop. So I also wrote a few things down just for current year and I keep it in my day planner. But I'm a process stitcher, but at the same time, you know, there are those charts that just languish and lay about and snooze. They hit the snooze button, kind of like I do. They just hit the snooze button and you're like, okay, Saltbox quilt sampler from May of 2020. It's time you get done. I think my oldest WIPs are all now in 2020. I don't have anything older than 2020. Okay, my 18 WIPs I have kind of categorized into 3 piles. I have the smalls that I'll fit in and amongst the samplers, which I'm also calling kind of my heavy hitters. There's 6 of those. And I have those kind of rationed out by the month with my own homework assignments and what I'm working on with a friend. And she got to decide the way we were, you know, kind of stitching it this year. And then I have just 4 that I will also say they're heavy hitters, but they're going to be ones I work on after these 6 samplers. But first I will show you the smalls that I'm going to fit in and amongst the big samplers, or these are also ones like I will take on vacation. I don't want to haul a big sampler. They're fill-in, they're, you know, for whatever reason. And the first one I want to start with, I have to start over. I am counting it as a WIP because I got a third of it done. And a granddaughter spilt some red Kool-Aid on it. So I had to start it again. And I'm counting it as a WIP, even though I haven't started it. I am certainly counting this as a WIP. This is a really cool one by Sub Rosa called 1776. Look at that White House. I had this top border and that flower pot done, the urn. And here came the red Kool-Aid. So if it was tea or something, I'd say, hey, woohoo, natural, right? But red just didn't, you know, cut it with me. So this one I'm going to start again. Piece of linen, mystery linen. I don't know what it is, 36 count something. I'm not sure. But look at this thread keep. This is perfect for this. 1776, keep in mind. And this is my, not my thread keep, my needle minder. It's a Betsy Ross needle minder for that project. And I'm definitely counting this as a WIP because it was a good halfway done. But this is a small, I think it's like 110 by 93 by 120. So tiny, small. You definitely fit that in. And this is one of the only ones I have this year in a very fancy Amazon. What do you call them? Project bags. My mind is kind of fried. In the last 2 weeks, I've been diagnosed with Hashimoto's. So I'm learning to eat gluten-free, and I'm still kind of overwhelmed with that diagnosis. But the more I study, the more I'm beginning to understand that, yeah, it'll help me to get better. It'll be better for me to go gluten-free. Just all those fun things that you have to go through as we age. Hashimoto's is an autoimmune disease that you have to carry the antibody. And even though I've always had thyroid problems all my life, the Hashimoto's was, it made everything just picture perfect clear for me. So my brain is a little bit fried. The next small I have is from Heartstring Samplery. Oh, pictures of friends in here from when we were stitching at Maggie's. Oh, good grief, where's my picture? Here it is. A Heartstring Samplery Schoolhouse Coverlet Drum, and I'm doing mine in red. And when I'm done, I'm going to put the name of the school that I am teaching at. I'm actually just a librarian / secretary / para. But we have 45 kids in the whole school. So it doesn't look like this, but it can very well be envisioned like this because we have a great group of kids. And this is my start. I got the house almost, or the schoolhouse almost done. A lot of fill in here, almost all fill in. The windows are all done. Fill in above the door, fill in the door, and then the rest of the house. And the little fleur-de-lis, or whatever you want to call them, around the back side of the drum. I think Beth put her kids' initials up here, and I may do that with me and my husband's, although my husband doesn't teach at that school. He teaches at a charter school. But I don't know how I'm going to personalize that yet. But mine is 220. What is my color? DMC 221. And there it is. It's bigger than I thought it was going to be. But still, all these I'm just in love with. I think last year I dekitted 2. And this year I'm just going for it because what I have left, I really, really love. This one is my small for February. We'll see how far I get. And it's done on a piece of prairie grass that my girlfriend Christy gave me. It was the perfect size for this. It's Plum Street Samplery's French woolens. And I'm not going to stitch the French woolens. I've recharted, it's here somewhere. I've recharted it. I'm just going to put a great big word woolens across the top there, kind of in that spot. Me and my sheep. Love my sheep. And these look like they have Pendleton blankets on them. I just love it. And not a very big start, but a start nonetheless. I've got, let me move my needle minder. It's Miss Tiggly Mouse, or what's her name from here? Beatrix Potter. Well, she's the one that does the laundry. She's a hedgehog. Can't remember right now. I got the outline of the house and the side of the border, and that's about it. But this is a small. I think it's 88 by 110. So it's a small. It's very doable. I'll be excited when I get the white sheep on there, though, and the little colors for them. It's a pretty one. Yeah. The next one, even though it might be kind of big, I've almost got it done. These smalls, I'm incorporating ones that are almost done. It doesn't have very much to do. To me, that would be a small project to get finished. This one is Infamous. Not Forgotten Farms, the Reverend Gordon Swashbottom. And I have just his shirt. I mean, I got some, but not all. I got the house to fill in. The cat to do. He's holding his lantern. So his jacket mainly, finish his hat, fill in the house and the cat. I would consider that a small. I am a slower stitcher because I use a hoop. There's one here you'll see that I have some over one to do on. Definitely would be using a hoop. But I use a hoop all the time. I've tried a couple times to stitch in hand, and I'm not crazy about the way my stitches look. So I'm a slow process stitcher, which is okay. After my busy day at school or working around the house or out in the garden or at a garden event or doing some internship hours, I want to come home and I want to relax with my stitching. And because I go all day long, I don't want to go on my stitching also. Ooh, I need to land, and just the in and out motion is very soothing for me. Hoop in hand, down and up, in and out. It's very, very relaxing to me. I envy those who can stitch in hand. I cannot do it. Sorry for the crinkle. This was a project from the one and only, well, one of the one and only retreats I went to. September of 2021, I went to the Quilter Station. This was the project, one of the projects from Alma, and I physically wanted to start this there at the retreat. I didn't get much sewing done or stitching done at the retreat. I did a little bit in my hotel room at night, but I worked on fill-in of a red house, I remember, Liberty House from, I think that's what it was called, from Brenda Gervais. It's over there on my wall. Anyway, got that done in my hotel room and on the airplane. But this one I did start and got a very sad start, but start nonetheless. Delicious Autumn from Blackbird Designs. A little ditty bag. And I believe this one is 75 by 111, so I definitely think this is a small. Counts as a small. We also got, let me show you this really quick. We also got Fall Gatherings in our packages. This one I won't do for a year, but we got, everything is in one project bag, and we got enough linen to do both. But this was my start on Delicious Autumn. But it's 75 by 111. This is going to go pretty quick. I'm not going to put that all back together because I don't want to have you listen to a bunch of crinkling. Okay, two more smalls. One I'm definitely starting again because I started it on, like, we'll say it was an even weave. And it's got some over one. So I'm counting this as a WIP. I didn't have very much done. Berry Cottage by Plum Street samplers. And I think I had like the little quilt, barn quilt thing right there in the top. I had that done. And then I realized this house is over one. I think your initials or something is over one. But I'm going to start this over on legit linen, 36 Barb's Blend by R&R. Like I said, this one and that other one I'm counting as WIPs because I had a start on them with some regular overdyes. And this one has a sweet, sweet strawberry for a floss ring that matches the strawberries in this chart. I've seen this on several walls, people's walls, and I just love this one. This one is also small, 112 by 83. So, and it's in my strawberry project bag. I made this one. I've made almost all of mine. Some I have bought, but so that is a small. My last small. This may be a start over too, but for right now, I'm gonna go for it. It's 28 count. Looks like I'm definitely gonna start this again. It's 2/2. I forgot about this. I must be wanting to start again because I put some 36 count Eureka. This is my sad and lonely start, and I don't like it. It's Patchwork Pumpkin by Blackbird. Don't like it. It's gonna get restarted. That is that one. Beautiful overdyeds, called for. But that one is really small too. It's really, really tiny. 110 by, I want to say 110. 103 by 103. So I consider that a small, even though you've got all that confetti stitching. A fall fill-in project. The next 6 are, I'm calling my heavy hitters. Maybe because they'll take a while. But also because they're kind of at the beginning stage of their creation. The first one I want to get done for my daughter. It was supposed to be a Christmas present last year. She now lives in Alaska. She's coming down in March, and I know I won't get it done before March, but she's also coming down in August to pick up the rest of their stuff that is in storage. And I want that free shipping back. Plus, it's probably gonna have glass on it, so I do want to get this one done for her. I think she wants me to turn it into their wedding sampler, even though it's like a Christmas one. And Heaven and Nature Sing. I started this actually for me. I believe it was September of 21. September of 21. September of 21. And then she just loved it. And so secretly I'm going to finish it for her. But before I finish it, I'm going to put the year they were married in this little birdhouse. Instead of 1827, it'll say 2019. And I'm going to ask her if she wants me to leave Let Heaven and Nature Sing and Heaven and Nature Sing up there in his antlers, or if she wants me to put their names up there, leave that there, and then just stick their initials, like one here and one up here, or take that out and put their names, but leave the date here. So before I get too much further, I'm going to have to ask her advice, what she wants me to do. She did love this, but I haven't told her that it's for her yet. And here is this is on Loving This. 1/1 on 28 count. Sorry, 25 count Vintage Country Mocha. And I have my deer done, part of the shading, and that's it. That wreath around his neck was no joke. And I'm trying to get him all outlined so that he just is fill-in, and I can be working on the trees and the pomegranate flower thing down here and that birdhouse. But they're both very outdoorsy people, loving Alaska. I'll probably get to go up this summer. But I love the way his little stitching there when I did it. It looks like he's kind of running fast. But he is fun to stitch. And so I thought, September of 21, I got to get this baby done. And she loved it, so guess what? She's going to have it. So the second of my 6 big hitters, I just purchased this, and I started this one on Christmas Day. Hence the reason why I'm not going to be starting any in 2024. Unless I need a small, quick gift. I am not starting any projects in 2024. This one's 36 count old stationery by Seraphim, and it's The Holy Child from Lori Rippey. The Holy Child from Lori Rippey. Lori, I can sing your praises all day long. And here is my start. Again, this is 36 count, 1/2, 36 count old stationery. And this is one, see if I can get this here, that I have like, because my fabric is not super big, it's big enough. This is my whole piece. It's big enough, but I started in the middle. Normally I do not start in the middle of my linen, but because I wanted to make sure this one fit right and well and centered, I started in the center. So this one I will be working with the letters first, the saying, and then I'll go to the borders on the side, and I kind of divvied it out over a 10-month period. But The Holy Child by Lori Rippey, it says, the Holy Child was sent for all mankind. 3 wise men all did come to find. All our costliest treasures bring to Christ, our heavenly King. And there's 2 great big red houses on that. So 3 of my samplers here are Christmas samplers. And normally I stitch in season, but I'm never tired of stitching Christmas. So this one too, I used, oops, I almost dropped that. I made my Santa floss drop, I guess they're called, my bling, my Santa bling. And these are some cards that were given to me back in the day when we were all making our own floss cards. They all match. And this is all with DMC. 36 count Seraphim, the Holy Child, Seraphim, 36 count old stationery by Seraphim. Sorry about that. The next one I'm stitching with my friend Christy. And I got my homework done for January. I bought this as a kit from Country Sampler in Spring Green, Wisconsin, several years ago when I was there. Noel Sampler by Brenda Gervais. And I first started stitching this and I thought, ooh, I'm not gonna like this dark color. And then when I was back there a year ago in June, saw it again on the wall and went, oh yes, 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 yes. So here is my homework done. This is 36 count tin roof. Pretty sure that's what this is with the Country, maybe it's 32 count tin roof. So it'll be a little bit bigger. With the Country Sampler conversion, all DMC. Right here, see if I can go like this. But oh, I'm gonna love this darker color. And this one has the infamous, I made this one out of a label when they sent me my package. It's got the little, oh, it's hanging in her face. Let me get that out of here. The lady that's the Country Sampler insignia. You can see that. Oh, just beautiful. I started this several years ago and stopped for a good 2 years because I thought, oh, my husband's having trouble out there. I stopped because, like I said, I wasn't sure I was going to like it on this darker linen. And then when I was back there June of 22, yeah, I saw it again and I went, I'm going to continue on. Last 3 of my heavy hitters is the Lucy Mac Sampler, also by Lori Rippey, 2016. Homespun Prims by Lori. I wanted to get this one out and work on it. Prone to Wonder, Lord, I Feel It. Prone to Leave the God I Love. Here's My Heart, O take and seal it for thy courts above. That is a chorus from, or part of the words from Come Thou Font of Every Blessing. And again, I started this, I believe, in the fall of 2020. And it was time to get it out and work on it. Lucy Mac Sampler started November 5th of 20. This one I'm probably going to have a bag or something underneath, behind me, I've got the bones of the, I don't know if you can see that. Let me take my needle minder off. I've got the bones of my, I'm not going to do it justice, but I have the bones of my border. This is part of the, where she writes her name, Lucy Mack. The saying goes over here. And again, I have divided this one into, I think it's 6 or 7 parts. And the first part will be that alphabet at the top, now that I've got my bones in. Oof. So, Holy Child, Lucy Mack, and I believe there's one more that I have as a WIP from Lori Rippey. I think it's one that's up in the mountains, though. Like I said, if, you know, the Holocaust comes or whatever, the zombies, if I'm up there, I'm going to need projects. If I'm down here, I'm going to need projects. So I kind of just split my WIPs into half. 2 more. Next one is also the last of my, I have 3 Christmas samplers. It is, I was going to say, what is that? Peace and Goodwill sampler by Chessie and Me. Red House. I'm not sure how many of those specialty stitches I'm going to be doing, but I'm going to be doing the over one. So this one is on a 32 count. I got it at Maggie's on Main. 32 count. Where did my, here it is. 32 count Lugana Over the Moon by Crescent Colorworks, CC. And I wanted that 32 on purpose because there is some over 1 on this. Be much easier for me to stitch. My go-to is 36, but if I've already started something, I am, unless it's that 28 count, 2 over 2, I'm not going to start it again. Oh, I better show you what I've got done here. I've got part of the ABC in the top part of the alphabet, and that was it. But I thought I was going for the whiteness, but yet the grayish of that picture, and this matched pretty darn good. And then with the colors, this one, my floss drop I made for this one, it says DMC. Let's go like that. And these are my colors. Couple DMCs, couple overdyes, called for. That will be it. This is a bag I made from It's a Christmas Line by Joe Morton. Can't remember it right now. Good Tidings, maybe? I can't remember. But I made this bag several years ago. I wish I would have written down. I know it's over in my Excel spreadsheet, but I can't remember when I started this one. It was just as we were, I would say, late 2021 for this one I started. Okay, and the last of my big heady hitters has been one that I have struggled with for a while. I think we all have who've tried to stitch this. Little Birds by Blackbird. Beautiful sampler. I started this 7 of 20, 7/4 of 20. So we're coming up on 4 years. This one also needs to get done. But again, it's called for was Heartland. 36 count Heartland, I want to say. Yeah, 36 count Heartland by Picture This Plus. All I could get was 32, or I had 32, whatever the story was. So this is, I can easily say this is my biggest sampler. Size-wise, not stitch count-wise. But I also started, I was so excited to start it. I got it started and the bones matched, the bones of the border matched all the way around. Oh, I got scissors hanging here, sorry. I did start doing this 1/2, and I went back and changed my mind. I am going to do this 2/2. Now, the bones to the border, I left 1. And the middle of that, or that triangular border all the way around, I left 1. But the inside and the flowers out here on the border, everything else now will be 2/2. Because it is 32 count. But you can see, just like a quilt, I'm starting to get these dog ears on this, and I'm really kind of close to the top. So I'm just going to have to be very careful. You can see down here, my border matches up with this. Okay, let me do this again. The triangle border is done on this side all the way to the bottom, that small little triangle. It's done all the way across the top, and then it's done down to here. I put all the stitching in to make sure it was gonna match up, and it did, because this outside bones matched up. So I am all matched up, I'm good to go. I just have to put some time here into the middle. And this one is my biggest sampler size-wise. I don't have a lot of space, both in this house and in the house up on in the mountains right now. I will have, long story, but this month I'm hoping to just get the rest of this border, or this cross right in here. It's going to have the vines and then the little berries on it. And then I'll start up here on the border in March. So I don't know of many people who have not struggled with little birds. Beautiful colors, absolutely beautiful colors. Little Birds Blackbird Designs started 7/4 of 20. This one I do know, I have a floss ring from my friend Christy. It's got an owl on it that she sent me when we very first met. And she is also stitching this. So I put that on there. I made my working copy, 32 count Heartland from Picture This Plus. It looks like it's a whole yard. It's just going to be a big girl. I don't know how I will ever afford to have this one framed. So, anyway, part of the process, part of the fun stuff, but you also want to get it done and hanging on a wall, right? That's part of the joy. Those colors, oh my gosh, those colors are just called for everything except count. 36 count is called for. I'm using 32. Colors are all called for. Okay, and the last tiny section are the 4 that they're also pretty big. They've still got a lot of work to go on them, but I'm pushing them towards the end part of the year because they are considerably fall. And when I get some of these other heavy hitters done, I can fit these ones in. Famous Christy bag. She made this for me when we very first met. Thank you, Christy. Every time I look at it, I think of you. This one is holding, I know it's holding Turkey Hollow Farm. And I started this, down at Maggie's with some friends. Probably, I don't know, a couple falls ago. See if I can find it. I know I've got it written in my Excel, but again, I need to be better at putting the tags. And I didn't write it on the tag here. It wasn't fall of 23. It might have been fall of 22. Turkey Hollow Farm. And my chart was one that did not have, the picture has the turkey feathers, the tail feathers, but my chart did not. So a girlfriend just sent me just a snapshot of the turkey feathers. I felt like I didn't need to buy a whole nother chart just for the turkey tail feathers. But here's my progress. My border meets up. I got my turkey done. He's the headless turkey right now, and part of my fence. And this is what Judy, our friend, there were 3 or 4 of us that started this all together, and she bought us all a turkey minder, a turkey needle minder. I just love it. Mine is on 20 count. Where did it go? 36 count cream and sugar fiber on a whim. So it needs to get a lot of love this year, but it'll be after some of these other big ones are, you know, if you figure, okay, I've cut this chart into 5 or 6 pieces. It'll probably be done by May, June, July. Then I'll have time for these last 4. Plus it'll be fall. I can stitch in the season. The next one is Grateful, Thankful, Blessed by Plum Street, or excuse me, With Thy Needle and Thread, Brenda Gervais. And mine is a very well-worn copy. It's been to several retreats with me. And I want to say I started this. My friend Lisa in Wisconsin, I have never stitched with silk. And Lisa sent me 2 of the silk colors that are called for. And I haven't really tried the silks yet. This one is 20, finally I find the information on the fabric. 20 count vintage country mocha. Not my favorite, but I started this one again in 2020 sometime. So, but I do like the coloring. I got my house done. I got Grateful done over here. Oh, it's coming. $20 count vintage country mocha. That one really should go pretty quick when I get going on it. I made this bag. I made one for me and one for my friend Marlis. It's got birds on it. Love the birds. This was a line that I bought a half a yard from Country Sampler in Spring Green, Wisconsin. Oh, I just love those birds. And the last 3, I'm down to 3. I started this last summer, but I wanted to get it done because I'm a librarian now. Erica Michaels, Mary Briggs, 1806. And it says, the greatest thing in the world is the alphabet, as all wisdom is contained therein. And I want to be able to put that in my library. Linen Vintage Country Mocha. I must be going through a mocha phase. I don't know. Plain black, 310. Pretty colors. And I have the E and the F and part of the alphabet done. So this one, again, this one is 148 by 146. So it's almost perfectly square. And again, I started in the middle, so I made sure I had enough linen. E, F, and then there's going to be G, H, I. These are kind of weird because their fold is right there. And then I made sure I had border over here. So 28 count vintage country mocha. Is that what I said? Yep. And it looks like I'm doing 2 over 2. But I want the kids to be able to read it if it's up on the wall. So, the thing about kids in the library, you see a totally different side of them. I have a couple little girls that just want to read Little House on the Prairie over and over and over and over again. And we did a Little House on the Prairie and a Secret Garden book club. And now this semester, the boys are reading, and these are my 3rd, 4th, and 5th grade, boys and girls. The boys are reading I Survived the Battle of Gettysburg, and I Survived the Revolutionary War. The girls are kind of all over the board. They haven't really voted yet, but the kids that I have are incredibly, what's the word? We have behavioral problems, don't get me wrong. And they have video games and, you know, whatever. But to me, they just seem like they want the classics. They want couple of the boys are reading Tom Sawyer. All the girls, all my 3rd, 4th, and 5th grade girls read Secret Garden, Little House on the Prairie, Amelia Bedelia. Who doesn't love Amelia Bedelia? The boys are reading Hatchet, which is kind of a classic. Some really good kids I have that pick incredible books. Ralph and the Motorcycle, The Secret, all of a sudden I can't think, A Secret of Nim, The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe. Well, there's all these, don't get me wrong, there is The Diary of a Wimpy Kid and the ones that I consider comics that I would not want to read because I don't consider that a book. It's not a chapter book, it's more of just comics and pictures. My own personal opinion here now. But for the most part, I wanted the kids to see this sampler. I want them to read that. I want that to be imprinted on their mind that they can go anywhere they want to go, be anything they want to be because of the books and the choices they read and the education that they get. Okay, last two. This one is from my friend, Christy. It was a gift. A Merry Heart by Plum Street Samplers. And I started this one in December last year. I didn't write it. Oh, it was a Thanksgiving start. But look at some of those flowers. And I think I'm going to change that house to either red or blue. It's not so Christmassy that you can't get away with a different colored house. There is a dove there, and looks like there's a reindeer. A merry heart maketh a cheerful countenance. So it's not too Christmassy. But if I change that house to it, will show up a little bit more too. I'm thinking blue or even red. I don't know, maybe blue. But I did the bottom border so far. You can see it. And this one is bigger than it looks. I thought this would be a slam dunk at maybe 150 by 150. 219 by 124. So I do have, that's pretty much the width of it. Now you just got to go the height, but it's going to be so pretty. I just love the colors. This is 36 count. Let me find my tag. I know it's a 36 count. Oh, bother. Oh, forevermore. That's what my aunt always says. Oh, forevermore. Yeah, I don't know. Mystery. But I do know it's 36 count. It's got the little thingy here where I bought it from Maggie's on Main. But mystery. Just looking at it, I know it's a 36, but that's the bottom. Normally, I start in the top left because I am left-handed. Not only do I stitch in a hoop, I'm left-handed. Yeah, see, it's not written down on my floss tag anywhere. I don't know what I did with it. I know it's a 36 count, but anyway. I do start upper left, or if I'm afraid that I'm not going to have enough linen, I start in the dead center. Or if I want to make sure I've got the length of linen, I know that I have that, but I want to make sure I'm good this way, I'll start in the center of the border, top border. I really can start anywhere. It's just a matter of making myself do it, right? Okay, last one. We are at an hour. I'll probably have to edit this and cut some down, but I hope I can get this uploaded. My last one is His Eyes on the Sparrow, and this I know is going to be a 2 or 3 year project, and that's okay. I've started it twice. I'm currently and finally stitching this on 25 count vintage country mocha Lugana. I've made my working copy. His Eyes on the Sparrow, and I will be changing the color of those houses. I don't know if they're going to be red with blue doors or blue with tan doors or what they will be yet, but I will be changing the color of those houses. But this is going to be so small and so detailed. I've got my tree in at the bottom, and so far, and I know but this is one that I know I have a big enough piece, but to get it in there centered correctly, I wanted to start in the middle, and I did. You seeing that? This down here is just my needle minder. It's a hedgehog. But the tree is almost done, and I know he is done. 25 count, 1/1, 25 count vintage country mocha. What did I do with that again? Yeah, 1/4 yard, 25 count vintage country mocha Lugana. I want a small one. Some of these are huge. I didn't want to do it on 40 count. I'm certainly not doing it on 56. And I like 1/1. I really do. And this fabric is, it's fun. It's fun to work on. Today is Sunday. I should be working on this, but I'm doing a FlossTube instead. But the tree is done. And the little pineapple just above that, the snake is around the bottom. And I know he is done. So I know I'm in the center. So I only have about yay down here to go. This is one of the borders. So I know I'm going to have plenty of fabric. Probably finish this one, if not next year, January. It's going to be my final project. January of 26. It'll finally get done, I guess I should say. Not my final project. I hope not, but I can be called home whenever the Lord wants me, right? But that is all I have for today. Like I said, I'll do the other rest of my WIPS. Some samplers, some seasonal, some big, some small, in the summer when I'm up in my mountain home, where my studio is. Until then, enjoy. I love snow. I don't necessarily like the cold, but I love snow. Our snow is all gone, and it's getting pretty dry, although we've had some rain. But enjoy your stitching time. Haul out a good book. Send fun cards to people or to your grandkids. I enjoy doing that for my granddaughters. The frillier, the better. Time is short. Tell someone you love them. Be mindful of them. And I will see you next time, probably towards the end of March, end of February, first part of March. So thank you for watching. I know you have demands on your time. So I appreciate spending time with you, as I do with all of you when I'm stitching. I'm watching all kinds of FlossTubes, and you truly are my inspiration. Bye-bye.